Journey Beyond Sanity. Chapter 2. Previously, on A Journey Beyond Sanity. Are you alright, sir? That looks pretty uncomfortable. You could say. I've had too much to drink before going to bed. Why, you're in Ponyville. Where else? And you're just in time. The Summer Sun celebration will be starting tonight. You make it sound as though you've never seen or met a pony before. You're one too, aren't you? You're mistaken. There's no way I am. I don't, but how, who, when? How is this possible? I'm Twilight Sparkle. Balance. Stardust Balance. A pleasure. Phillies and Tentacles. As mayor of Ponyville, it is my great pleasure to announce the beginning of the Summer Sun celebration. The bringer of harmony to all of Equestria, Princess Celestia. She's gone! You have to get everyone out of here, now! Nightmare Moon. Remember this day, little ponies, as if it were your last. From this moment forth, the night shall last forever. Do your worst, Moon. Do your worst, Moon. For dramatic effect, my front right limb raised upwards in defiance over the sinister laughter exhaling from the villain's lungs. These ponies within this hall may have a complete lack of a backbone, but I refuse to yield to the first and debatably weakest enemy of the main heroines. Seize her! The mayor had turned and exclaimed in equal defiance. Okay, maybe not a complete sense of cowardice than I thought. Only she knows where the princess is. At her command, I craned my head backwards at the obedient guards clad in golden armor, charging foolishly at the arrogant mayor. Huh. Didn't even realize they were here. Stand back, you fools! Did he fools or foals? Either wouldn't surprise with this world's usage of language. Oh, look at that. The guard's knocked back by lightning, and also, Nightmare Moon is getting away. Been a pleasure, Miss Sparkle, I yelled over the loud exclamations to the still shocked unicorn. I have completely no idea why I'm doing this, but I can't just stand idly by with a wandering, insane villain on the loose. Get everyone in their houses, I ordered the shaken mayor as I ran by in pursuit of the retreating blue mist. Besides, I have no better to do anyhow. Get back here! A blue of Rainbow followed me outside. Of course, Rainbow Dash was also one for making rash decisions. You cowardly, inferior sibling! Maybe that will halt the jealous mayor and possibly kill me. But alas, I had to squint at the speeding mist flying over the mountains beyond both my and the Pegasus' range. My hoof stomped on the ground, showing my frustration. God damn it. I should have seen this coming. I should have prepared beforehand. What could I have done anyway? I had no powers, no abilities. I'm just a stinking earth pony, for Christ's sake. Nighttime? Forever? I heard the Pegasus ask above me, sounding understandably nervous. Apparently so. Not if I can help it, I said instead, with zeal, ignoring her looking down at me in surprise. Hey, this is a big opportunity for me, regardless. Here's my chance to actually do something. To make a change. The sound of coughing hoofs behind me turned my head, a running look rather determined Twilight Sparkle with her pet dragon on her back. Oh, of course she's not going to miss out on the action. And knowing her, she's the one with the most information on what is to be accomplished. Without saying a word to her, I pursued, already knowing where she was headed. Twilight was most likely the only source of information. Where, where they're going. Where are they going? If the situation wasn't so serious, I would have admired this library more. But to hell with it. I allowed my fascinated eyes to wander around the shelves filled with so much knowledge and wisdom with appreciation. As soon as we entered, I, closing the door behind us, I stopped in the middle of the first floor and couldn't resist the grin on my face. Oh, fantastic. A library with an obnoxious party going on within it. No doubt Twilight's friends are going to arrive any minute. So, after breathing in the smell of knowledge, I nodded to myself and walked up to the pairs. Spike somehow asleep during the run back here. A few mutters from his dog-looking bed before the worried dragon said in fright, We gotta stop Nightmare. Zzz. Yeah, sounds about right. I kept my distance as the purple unicorn tended to her pet, leaning against the doorway to the room. You've been up all night, Spike. Oh god, she's right. We've been up all night. And I still yet feel the least tired. Even in pony form, my ability to stay awake for long periods of time remains. Even that curse followed me to this world. Damn. You are a baby dragon, after all. Yet, he talks like a kid, I pointed out the obvious, not really desiring to break the moment. But the situation is now and staring us right in the face. Yeah, he does. Oh, look, I just startled her. Oh, excuse me. I didn't know there was anybody else in here. She squinted as though a memory was coming back to her. Wait, haven't we met before? Sometime earlier? Understandable. You were busy tending to your pet. I didn't want to interrupt. Until now. I started stepping back as Twilight exited the dragon's room, turning light there and heading to the main room. And yes, though it was a short encounter, we met when you were checking on Miss Fluttershy. Oh, yes, I remember. You were that polite gentlecolt, and the one that spoke back at Nightmare Moon, too. Do you follow me here? The unicorn asked curiously. No suspicion within it. As we walked farther into the library, good God, I'm walking beside Twilight Sparkle, inside her library. Keep your calm, Stardust. I responded in attempted casualness. You seem to be the one with the important information, Miss Sparkle. Please, just call me Twilight. You don't have to be so formal. I blinked at the interruption, and smile sent my way. Well, if that was her wish. All right then, Twilight. I stopped as she continued walking and tasted every word. Twilight, that has always been my favorite. Not many know this, but I am very philosophically adept. And Twilight was more than a simplistic word or name to me. It meant a lot of things. But this wasn't the time or place to dwell on it. Feel free to call me Star. I cut myself off as the book flew right over me. What the hell? Huh, there's the cause. Books being carelessly thrown about as Twilight sought some information she needed. If it wasn't so dire, I would have scolded her for harming the poor objects. Elements, 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 elements! She groaned in exasperation. What, the elements of harmony? The deus ex machina to their every crisis? Are they what she hoped to use against the current threat? Elements ex machina. Just how can I stop Nightmare Moon without the elements of harmony? She was asking me or herself. I was about to open my mouth in an attempt to calm the rather frustrated unicorn. Before I was beaten to the punch. More like a jackhammer to me. And just what are the elements of harmony? Yeah! Where the hell did she come from? Couldn't she knock beforehand? Oh, look at me, being as though I already own this library. I probably should if Twilight was going to be a pain and so disrespectful to the stacks of literature around here. And how'd you know about Nightmare Moon, huh? Are you both spies? Oh, just shut up, you glorified Sonic ripoff. Yeah, by that I mean Rainbow Dash. It was clearly my least favorite of the main characters. It's fine if other people love her, but seriously, I can't stand pompous hotheads. I don't hate her. I just wouldn't be one to stand in the same room as her for more than 5 minutes. Starting countdown now. And seriously, a spy? Before I ever could retort and defend the poor unicorn, a certain honest Earth pony bit back on the yelping Pegasus tail. Between you and me, I wish he'd bit harder and ripped off her tail entirely, gaining all three of our attention. Simmer down, Sally, they ain't no spies. Thank you, Applejack. Voice of honesty and reason around here, it seems. But she sure knows what's going on. Where did they all spring up from? And for that matter, why those five specifically? A wider, contrived way of bringing the group together, don't you think? And so does he, for that matter. Now I've got 6 ponies staring in my direction. A certain yellow Pegasus, innocent eyes lighting in recognition. Yeah, here I have a death glare return. Instead, I wasn't having any accusations tonight, thank you very much. Take it easy. You don't bite, but you both know what's happening, don't you, Twilight? And no comment. If there's going to start assuming right off the bat, then why should I indulge some of it on it? No. Let Twilight do the work. I already have an idea how thing is going to turn out. Regardless, and those inquisitive looks wasn't going to gain an answer for me anyhow. I read all the predictions of Nightmare Moon, Twilight began, during my silence, and stared down with the 5 other ponies gaining their attention. Some mysterious objects called the elements of harmony are the only things that can stop her. Yes, magic. The solution to all problems in this world. But I don't know what they are, where to find them. I don't even know what they do. You'll figure it out, I'm sure, I replied, before I could shut my spilling mouth once more, draining their attention to a few feet from them. The Elements of Harmony, a references guide. Wait, what? I could only blink as Twilight suddenly zoomed by and knocked an observant Pinkie Pie out of the way. That's it, Twilight, you sure know your manners. Wait, it just suddenly occurred to me I'm in the exact same room and presence of the main 6. The main 6? How did you find it? She's Pinkie Pie, that's how. The pink pony was the second Deus Ex Machina of this world. I learned that much. It was under E, a bouncing, ecstatic Pinkie Pie replied, no doubt glad she could be of help. And suddenly I was reminded that staying in the same room with these creatures that spawn so much hope and morals to children and adults alike was, well, what one can call a success in life was also wasting my time. All I needed was the location of Nightmare Moon, and then I'm good to go. Is that book sparkling? Please tell me it's not sparkling. How could you miss a sparkling book? Next, when you open it, it'll release magic gold dust. There are 6 elements of harmony, the purple unicorn began reading out loud. Despite my need to depart, my ears couldn't resist taking in every word. But only 5 are known. Kindness, laughter, generosity, honesty, and loyalty. Which, if you ask me, are not elements, but emotions. You can't craft objects from emotions. I don't care if I'm bringing logic into a fantasy world. My suspension of disbelief can only go so far. The sixth is a complete mystery. It is said the last known location of the five elements was in the ancient castle of the Royal Pony Sisters. Now this I'm not familiar with. Magic. Their heads turned this time to my second interruption. Excuse me? Twilight asked. I shrugged. May as well make their upcoming journey more helpful. Magic is the sixth element. I'm not completely clueless on this stuff. And how do you know that? The flying Pegasus asked snidely, obviously still untrusting of me. What else would it be? Was my simple reply. Why am I needlessly adding more suspicion to myself? Twilight continued after raising a curious brow at me. Right. It is said the last location of the five elements was in the ancient castle of the Royal Pony Sisters. Now this I'm not familiar with. Of course, if it wasn't referring to Celestia and Luca, it is located in what is now the Everfree Forest. The other five gasped loudly while I raised a brow. Yes. They had to traverse the deadly forest to gain the elements. Well, good luck to them. Obviously, I will get no answers on where to find the villainous mare here. Hey, where do you think you're going? Damn. I swore my hoof steps were quiet when I moved. Obviously, I made myself notice too much. I'll have to be more careful next time. Before I knew it, a certain sonic ripoff flew right in front of my blinking eyes fiercely. While you gain your elements, I'm going after Nightmare Moon. Unlike the citizens of this town, I have no intention of staying behind closed doors and saying my prayers, I replied simply, my tone daring anyone to object otherwise. And object they did. To my annoyance, first came the whirring voice of who I recognized to be Rose. Darling, are you crazy? You can't just go after Nightmare Moon. I'm afraid I can. Not to worry, I have a plan. It was a plan that requires a lot of luck on my part. But hey, in this world, miracles always happen. I brushed past the surprise Rainbow Dash in my direction to the front door. Yeah, Rarity's right. You're crazy if you think you can take her all by your lonesome, Sugar Cube. Who knows what Nightmare Moon will do to you? Disregarding what you just called me, I glanced at the worried ponies who were following me out. You don't have to be concerned. I know her type. There isn't anything she can do that will put my life on the line. Maybe I'm just being arrogant, or maybe I have complete confidence with what I'm doing. Go and seek out your elements within that accursed forest. I will stall that mare as long as I can. But one purple unicorn was having none of it. Just before I was about to exit the open door, the fierce eyes of Twilight Sparkle appeared and stared straight back into my blue-green own. That's your plan? Stalling? Yes, it is. Just get out of the way, Twilight. It doesn't matter what happens to me. I don't think you know what Nightmare Moon is even capable of. I scoffed. Then I'll find out the hard way. We're wasting sunlight. Well, nightlight in this case. I already moved aside and walked past her. You're wasting time. Go find the elements of harmony. I'm going to keep her distracted as long as possible. How do we know you're not a spy just going back to report to your mistress about what we're planning? I groaned loudly. Okay, I'm putting this Pegasus in her place. This time a fierce glare was hurled in her direction. In their direction, some of which don't think I need to specify who took a step back at the stair. I would never serve someone such as her. So shut it, you pretentious pony Sonic. Now stop wasting your own time and mine and find those elements, or I swear I will throw you all into the forest myself if you're going to do is just stand there and throw accusations about. Would it be wrong of me to say I took enjoyment out of shutting the shocked Rainbow Dash up? Of course it would be. Yet, that didn't stop me. Applejack was the first to recover. Whoa, whoa. Settle down there, friend. We weren't accusing you of anything. Well, not all of us, anyhow. And the last part won't be necessary. I nodded briskly and turned back, ready to head to the direction where that blue mist of a villain was headed. Over the hills, that shouldn't be so bad. I have 4 legs now. It shouldn't be difficult to walk there long. Right? I suddenly found a soft hoof on what I assumed is my ponyfied shoulder. Looking back one last time at the library and the eyes of Twilight, and they were apparently pleading. Her palm felt rather warm. Don't go. You might get hurt, were the soft words coming from her upset muzzle. I know what I'm doing. I really don't, but I felt as though I had to reassure her. Gently I shrugged her still palm off me, facing the direction of where I remembered the blue mist took off. Listen, all of you, what happens to me is irrelevant. Just as long as you can gather the elements to the location of Moon's stronghold and take her out, then I will either be happy or die in peace. I ignored their gasps of astonishment at my words. Knowing that you have defeated the first of many threats of Equestria, and that I helped in some way. But if you'll pardon me saying them, sir, you might get my ears strained to hear the quiet, persistent voice of Splash, especially that last part. Then I'll die in a peaceful assurance that I brought you enough time. But yes, Twilight was always was insistent. You know more than you're letting on. You could help me find the elements. No, I sternly cut her off. My destiny is elsewhere. You are clearly aware by now I'm just making it up as I go, but that gut feeling persists that I go and take on Nightmare Moon alone. Why? I work alone. Regardless. Good luck, Twilight. Others. Wait a minute. Just who are you? Well, at least that blue Pegasus wasn't sounding accusing this time. I allowed a faint grin. A madman and a fool. Without awaiting another reply, I ran off, refusing to look back. I have no time for sentiments, to make friends, or any of that irrelevant garbage. There was a villain who needed to be stopped, and I can't have Twilight in the recipe. Slowed down by more baggage. Mine, to be specific. Well, at least I'm not tripping over my own hooves while running. Hey, I might have finally gotten the hang of this after all. I have made a terrible mistake. Not much a surprise, really. I usually did make mistakes, despite of my confidence of rushing into these plans. But I couldn't accompany those 6 in their adventure to first ever seek out the elements. We wouldn't get along. Plus, my tolerance of the energetic of Pinkie Pie and smugness of Rainbow Dash could only last so long. Besides, this way I won't be a liability. Now here I am, within what I presume to be Everfree Forest. The exact place Nightmare Moon fled to, and where the main 6 will be joining soon. I should have known that the mayor would have retreated somewhere in here. Probably at the supposed ruins Twilight during her reading of the book. Now I'm just wandering around, my eyes glancing in every direction. I refuse to be ambushed by whatever local creatures resided in here. I'll give the animers credit where it's due. This forest was, to put it mildly, unnerving. If it weren't for the fact there was a mission for me to do, I would have never set foot in this place to begin with. But alas, Nightmare Moon had to be stopped. I can buy them enough time if I just make it to that mare's stronghold, wherever it is. All I have to do is keep moving forward. I haven't encountered a single creature yet, merely their predatory cries, so fate was on my side. I can get there with minimal casualties. I'm probably going to die. You will not perish. That disembodied voice caused me to look upwards. You never ended night sky greeting me. I would say that it was my tiredness that caused me to hear such delusions. If it weren't for the fact I heard that exact voice earlier, a while after my arrival into this insane world. All right, who's there? Reveal yourself already, I commanded loudly, my tone making it abruptly clear. Abundantly clear I won't be playing any games with them. I was greeted with the sound of laughter. My, aren't you observant? Oh, good God, no. I braced myself, haunched in that instinctive defensive position. The blue mist peering from the air, landing right in front of me, and morphing into that mare of the night. Blue turquoise, unnerving eyes looked back at me. Lightning accompanying her, unnecessary. I get it, dramatic effect. Just cease already. Nightmare moon, I acknowledged. Still in my defensive stance. I won't lower my guard just yet. We meet at last. Indeed. The valiant stallion who dared show such disrespect at my announcement in that pitiful little town. She replied oh so impassively. I must admit, never had a pony present such boldness at royalty in my life. I find myself intrigued, and yet dissatisfied by your blatant attitude. Sorry to disappoint, I reply evenly over our exchange of death glares. But in my case, respect is earned, not given. And you have accomplished nothing to gain mine. Just as you have accomplished nothing in your feeble little plan to divert my attention. Oh yes, I am fully aware of what you are attempting to do. Her eyes brightened over my narrowed ones. But I regret to inform you, it is all for naught. Your friends shall fail in their attempt to gain their precious elements of harmony. And you will bear witness to it, my stubborn, reckless friend. Okay, 1, they're not my friends. 2, you're not my friend. 3, they will gain the elements and they will emerge victorious. There is naught you can do about that. And 4, if you're here just to gloat and sprout generic villain nonsense at me, you're wasting whatever minimal time you have left in stopping them. I'm sure they'll be here soon. One thing I know about Twilight is her low tolerance on wasting time. And so far my plan was already working right now. Stardust 1, Nightmare 0. Her move. Yet I don't like that dark chuckle. So certain are we, Mr. Balance. Stardust Balance. Despite the situation, I took a light bow, and she blinked at such behavior. I cursed my British roots. But whatever it took, keeping her talking and away from disrupting others, I would say it's a pleasure, but I'd rather we skip the formalities and get to the part where you reveal whatever it is you want with me. Well then, Stardust Balance, I am Nightmare Moon, Mistress of the Night. I'm not sure if she was merely mocking me with her light bow, at least is confirmed to me how exactly they bow in greeting. Most likely. And I concur, such pleasantries are unnecessary. You will be coming with me now. I couldn't resist a scoff. And what makes you think what? My head, my eyes, what was happening? Blue mist was covering around me. Failed to notice the stuff crawling up my feet. What are you doing? I feel so suddenly drowsy. So tired. What was she? What was it you said to this foolish Maris? There's nothing she could sew that would put my life on the line. You are deeply mistaken, my stallion Fred. You do not grasp what I'm truly capable of. I heard the roars of lightning after her short speech. My eyelids were already closed, refusing to open. No, no, brain, you have never shut down on me completely once in my entire life. Don't start now. You will fall. Shh. That mockery tone, followed by her last words, was all I could remember before the inevitable of sleep. Sleep now, little pony. You will bear witness to the downfall of your allies soon enough, Stardust Balance. Damn you, Moon! A yawn, a yawn escaped me before I even opened my eyes. What a dream that was. I was a gold furry pony and somehow landed in Krishna during the first episode of the show. I swore it was a lucid dream because I can clearly remember every detail and every pony I met. Last thing I recall from that interesting experience was the first villain of the world appearing before sending me into unconsciousness. Must have been a sign to say it was time for me to wake up. Hang on. Am I standing? I don't recall my limbs moving upwards from my bed. And this feels like nothing like the carpet of my bedroom I'm standing on. No! Blinking rapidly, my awakened eyes looked up from the still lamps and quickly scanned around the place. I appeared to be in some ancient ruins. The remains of a castle, judging by the interior. Okay, so it wasn't a dream. It was real. Fantastic. Bloody fantastic. I'm still stuck in this world. Well, at least I feel nothing wrong with my body. Save for the numbness of my sleeping limbs. An exasperated sigh escaped my dry lips. I wonder what time it was. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Ah yes, Nightmare Moon knocked me out, which means I must be in the middle of her fortress. And I'm her prisoner. And I can't move my hooves at all. They're bound to the stone floor covered in that blue magic. Do I even need to say fantastic one more time? I could say L&Z or Geronimo instead, but they wouldn't apply correctly here. Even to my sarcastic attitude. Well, well, well. You have awakened. Speaking of things I should be sarcastic against, was the first mother to come to my parched throat as the villain walked towards me from her blue mist. You wouldn't happen to have a glass of water, Miss Moon? I'm feeling rather thirsty. If she expected me to show even the slightest difference for extra exaggerated interest, she was sorely mistaken. At least this completely confirmed that now I wasn't in a dream. Is what I'll be telling myself every time I wake up in this forsaken world. As though not expecting this response, her eyes were then as narrow as her serpent-like irises. Even in the presence of danger, you continue to act so nonchalant. I'm hardly afraid of the likes of you. Nothing personal, my dear, I assure you. The irises narrowed more than I thought possible. You should be, and soon enough. You will fear me. My stubborn little stallion, the mayor replied, and I could detect a trace of menace in her otherwise impassive tone. As her face loomed ever closer towards my own, I couldn't resist smirking. What, that old technique? I thought it would be rude of me not to inform you. Your allies have arrived within the Evertree Forest, hopelessly seeking out their precious stones. She then leaned back and gestured with a raised hoof towards the cloud of mist in the middle of what I'm guessing was her throne, which formed into a sphere-like shape. Ooh, free TV. I'm guessing it comes wireless, I said, as I observed the 6 ponies, the main characters and the heroines of this world, walk into the darkness of the forest. Then I noticed something more. I squinted to see their mouths move, but no audio. Oh, that's a shame. Your sense of humor will neither save you or your friends, the villain turned from the mist back to me with a smile I really don't like. Unless, of course, you hear a proposal of mine first. And what might that be? Despite myself, even if I had the slightest suspicion what she was going to ask, a wave of intrigue rose within me. If you value the lives of those ponies and every single little fool that resides within all of Christia, you have to do one simple thing. I'm listening, hesitantly. Must restrained urge to bite her muzzle as her smiling face continues. Was centimeters within my irritated own. I know you're kind, Stardust Balance. Oh, yes, I do. I know you're kind completely. From that glint in your eyes, that raw defiance and attitude, shows you are not one to be pushed around so easily. You have a strong will. I would like that by my side. Buy me a drink first, then we'll talk. Just what I need. Oh, another old harpy coming on to me. Charming. Thank you for noticing, I smiled to her icy stare. Your petty humor aside. Join me, Stardust. Receive the honor of captain of my royal guards, and nothing in all of Christian will escape our might. Every pony and everything will respect us or perish under our might. Dramatic exclamation followed by lightning surround us, making me jump at the roaring sounds around me. She's serious, isn't she? It hasn't been a full day since my time in this world, and already someone was offering me the opportunity to rule the lands. If my brother was here, he'd probably shake her hoof in gleeful acceptance. But I'm not my brother, so that means I have to tread carefully here. I admit, it's an intriguing offer. But I'm afraid you will have to spare me some time to dwell on it, was my calm reply. But mentally I was in the middle of conjuring a plan. Honestly, of course I'm not going to join her. There are better villains out there I could partner with, but I wouldn't join them either. Stepping back from my comfort zone to my relief, she turned around and already began marching off. Now where was she going? Then by all means consider it, but I warn you, should you decline, it will be the last time I ever act so charitable. I sincerely hope you make the correct decision. In the meantime, observe as I deal with those ponies. And just like that, an evil laughter followed by the mare transforming into blue mist and disappearing through the magical window to the other ponies, oblivious to our watching. Alright, with that out of the way, I can think of a plan more clearly without distractions. Let's just hope those six won't be in terrible danger enough for cause of concern. Well, I gotta give them credit. The way those six showed off their individual talents was well done. I'm quite unashamed to say. Except for maybe Applejack. And that may be just from lack of audio on my part. Seriously, to say I'm bad at reading mouth movement would be saying Colin Baker was an underrated doctor. So my shock was completely understandable when the frightened Twilight willingly let go of their pony without losing the two Pegasus waiting to catch her below the cliff. My eyes widened and mouth dropped in disbelieving shock at how willing Twilight was entrusting whatever the farmer cowgirls said so easily to fall. She didn't even see the two prepared flying ponies. Speaking of which, I didn't even know it was possible for one to be a botter, a farmer, and a cowgirl at once. I guess this show does teach us new things every day. Plus, that was a spectacular failure on Moon's part. I mean, hello? Two flying Pegasuses that can easily catch their friends and land them on the ground safely? What was collapsing the road really going to accomplish? Now they're walking, finally understandably looking annoyed at the no doubt boasting Rainbow Dash. And they fought a lion with demonic wings and a scorpion tail? Now that is awesome. The lion, I meant. And who saved the day showing off her trait here? Why, no other than the animal lover herself. I couldn't help but lift a smile. A message to say violence wasn't always the answer. Well done. And yes, I wasn't hallucinating. I kid you not. Nightmare Moon suddenly decided to pay homage to Snow White. Were they screaming at those trees? You all just fought a demonic lion, for God's sake. Where did all that bravery go? Oh, and Pinkie Pie saved the day. Was surprised. Oh, good grief, she's not. The hell? Yes, she's singing. I could definitely tell. Identify that kind of movement from the body and lips. It wasn't until then I was thankful there was no audio to hear from it. At least it got them moving forward. I suddenly shivered. Must be colder than I thought, or that just might be the night increasing the low temperature. If this keeps, it won't just be my hose feeling numb. How long have I been here anyway? Because now I feel hungry again. It must be late in the morning by now. How have they not fallen down to the ground? Down on the ground in exhaustion. I should say kudos for their determination. Okay. A rampaging river. How are they gonna get it across? What in Christ almighty is that? My eyes squinted hard. I think it's a sea dragon with fashioned orange hair and half a mustache mission. And is crying. Yep, we went from demon lion to this. Clearly it should have been the other way around. And it looks as though it's Rarity's turn to show her stuff. I raised a brow. What was she gonna do? Cut off the other half of the mustache? Tell the deluded thing she's still appealing without the other half of the mustache? I swear, that's the reason behind the sobbing state I'm going to. Whoa, alright, that settles it. I've clearly underestimated Rarity, because I admittedly never expect her to suddenly rip off the majority of own her own tail, just to replace the missing half of the stupid facial hair in the second, what I assume to be the second by now episode of the first season. I blinked rapidly before frowning at the sight that the water has ceased acting its rampage because the forsaken sea dragon stopped crying. Give me a frickin' break. My head snapped up at the same voice from before. Was that no two male to, was that no two male to be moons? And this is the third time I've heard it now. My eyes narrowed and my mouth became a straight line. No interruptions to stop me this time. All right. I know for a fact that wasn't my subconscious speaking. Who are you and how are you talking to me by what I presume to be telepathically? Waiting, waiting. Oh, a reply, and it sounded stern. Continue observing them. It is the blue Pegasus's turn. And I'm supposed to raise my expectations for such? I remained staring above the dusty blue ceiling. If this castle wasn't as ruined, I might have claimed it for my own. All the more reasons I get answer from you instead. Mysterious voice in my head. I believe your opinion over Miss Rainbow Dash will significantly change with what is about to occur soon. No answers now. Does my opinion about any of them really matter? This was far important. Just observe. I was taken aback by the commanding tone. Who are you to believe I will do as you say? No answer this time. Well, nothing? Hello? Oh, great. The voice suddenly decided to just bugger off then. A string of muttered curses flew from my mouth as I reluctantly turned my gaze to the 6 ponies who looked to be arriving toward the bridge. Well, at least they're closer to the castle now. And really, Tyler, I would facepalm if possible right now. So, what exactly will Rainbow Dash be doing? Oh, of course, show off as usual. Well, at least the rope is keeping her from brokily showing off. Wait, why did she let go? Who is she talking to? What was Nightmare Moon up to now? And then there were 4, judging by their ridiculously evil-looking goggles. Why Pegasus would even bother wearing goggles if Rainbow Dash doesn't is beyond me. And movement. It wouldn't be that inaccurate to say that they were infinitely minions of moons. Though I don't recall the villain ever having such servants. Oh, I see. Playing with that's your self-esteem, are we? Well, we're obviously doomed from the start. Wait, that doesn't happen, so that means I couldn't stop the blinking. She actually declined from what appeared to be an offer to join them. Wow, that certainly was the last thing I expected. It seems Rarity wasn't the only one I underestimated. Of course, her talent was loyalty, and this mere episode, which I never have seen before, just slapped me in the face that I have misjudged Rainbow Dash from the start. You know what that means? I owe her an apology. But I probably won't do as such. You see now? Yeah, was my distracted reply before common sense caught up. Alright, you've proven your point. Now, how about you start explaining yourself to me? Do I really need to ask these out loud, seeing as whoever he was seemed to be communicating from my mind? Someone might think I've gone bonkers. Talking to yourself is the first sign of insanity. Like her. Duh. The black alicorn appeared from her blue mist, exaggerate lighting and all, staring at me colder than before. I suppose it would be hypocritical of me to disapprove. I have done nothing but speak to myself for 1,000 years. We are perhaps more alike than you think. I raised a bemused brow. Why, yes, I am certainly inclined to threatening a world with eternal night. I also dabble in wasting away cliched dialogue, too. Employing just a stereotypical minions, one of my favorite pastimes. You know me so well, Miss Boone, and if I might say so, you're looking rather butthurt from the ponies, following your measly attempts to stop them, I imagine. An unamused raised brow in turn, her voice suggesting I was walking on rather nice. I take it from your disrespectful tone you have decided to decline my offer. I gave an insincere apologetic smile. Terribly sorry, my dear, but I'm a man of my own destiny. I wouldn't be chained to obedience from someone of your structure. I refuse to be intimidated or enslaved at all to this one-time villain. Mm, pity. That tone obviously suggested no such thing. Then you are useless to me. As soon as you friends arrive, they shall witness your swift demise. As if that was going to happen, but that unnerving gaze set me on edge regardless. Whatever relieves me of your mediocre attitude. Mediocre? You are mistaken as ever, Mr. Balance. I am the most perfect monarch to ever grace the. No. Excuse me? I said no, I replied sternly, ignoring the death threat in her demonic eyes, returning her the same glare. You know what you are, Nightmare Moon truly. A pathetic, envious mayor who foolishly believes that reigning with everlasting night will accomplish great things for you. Ah, but it will, Stardust. These cretins that dwell all over a question, will soon learn to respect the night, or succumb to its cold wrath. Most likely the latter, if you continue, is there will be no one left under you to rule. Allow me explain, I said in a tone to prevent interruptions. Perhaps being stuck on the moon has made you madder than I thought, because, my dear, without the day, all life in this world would perish. Without light, crops nor plant life will either grow, meaning less food for the sentient life forms. Nothing will grow until everything becomes a barren wasteland, devoid of the previously dying plant life and remains of the bones of the ponies you demand respect from. Everything will die. And so be it. Excuse me? If they refuse to adapt to the beautiful dark, then it will be their own downfall. And yours, I rebutted, not quite believing what I'm hearing. Don't you see? Everything will be gone. There will be nothing left. Just like on the moon. Yes, my voice raised high in conviction as I could see the gears turn her slightly wide eyes. The seeds of doubt planted. I just needed to keep this up. And exactly like on the moon, where you were isolated for 1,000 years. Do you honestly desire to be alone for not just 1,000 years this time, but forever? This is not about me being alone. I have no need for compassion or pity or anything else useless. Aha! I'm getting through to her. The true knightly monarch was in there somewhere. If in the end it is only I who holds the respect for the knight, so be it. But that's not true, Moon, and do you know why? Oh my god, this stuff might actually work. Hmm? Indulge me, because I respect the dark too, I replied. Well, the sincerity I have, admitting anything deep about me for the first time to a pony. And I know with the widening of her surprised eyes it was seen. In fact, I love the night. The dark, in fact. I'm a stallion of balance, Miss Moon. I respect and love both sides, light and dark, black and white, order and chaos. They need one another to survive. I understand this, your sister understands this, and it's time you did too. What are you suggesting? Was the only inquisitive, hesitant sounding voice of the doubtful mayor. You see how things can be solved without violence? The mind was the most powerful weapon of all. The mouth was the cannon to fire the thoughts of the mind, used for reasoning. One could achieve anything. I've never felt so self-confident over anything in my life. I can do this. Turn back on your rage and sorrow, Moon, because the respected, beautiful mare you once were before you can and will be forgiven by all. If you do this, let go of this fiery rage within you, this envy and jealousy against your sibling, and lift the night away until the evening to come. What happened that long ago, then, is exactly that, long ago. You no longer need to hold on to this anger. Return to who you truly are, Princess Luna. Am I being poetic as sin? Of course I am, but hey, My Little Pony, what can you do? A stare down of the century lasted here between my pleading eyes and her impassive own. Please work, please work. Please send the strong message that not everyone has to be defeated by combat or the like. Redemption is something few rarely consider anymore. The darkness can be used for the good of all, just as the light can be handled for the misdeeds. Neither were strictly bound to by simple morality. I can convince Moon, and maybe to an extent Celestia, of that. After what felt like an eternity, the reluctant mayor was the first to break away the gaze, turning away from me. It's too late for that, was the quiet response, a tinge of finality. But that wouldn't stop me. Not when I'm so close. It's never too late for redemption, I said with a soft tone this time. I know you're in there, Luna. Come back. Your sister needs you. She never needed me. I don't believe that. Then you are a fool, was her blunt, sharp reply. I smiled regardless. I know. Just as she was about to open her mouth for what I imagined would be a counter-argument, I raised a brow as the mare suddenly raised her head, her eyes narrowing from what I could see. I couldn't even ask what was wrong as the fallen princess evaporated into that blue mist once again and disappeared from sight. Immediately my head turned to the sphere of mist showing me the main six, and I justifiably sighed in disappointment. Well, Twilight, if my plan won't work, you're smarter than me. Figure out a better one. You tried. That's all that matters. Well, I swallowed my own words before I even could chew them. I might just choke on the consequences. Twilight's concentration on the stones blinded her to Nightmare's ambush. And even when she reacted to the hurricane, it was too late. The elements were in the villain mare's hooves. Oh yes, that didn't stop the unicorn from foolishly jumping into a blue tornado. Though, great thinking, Twilight. That was then the window that I watched them, who abruptly evaporated into thin air, followed by a sinister cackling to the side. I blinked rapidly and turned my head to the left. A smirking Nightmare Moon standing atop the small throne, glancing at me triumphantly. Those floating stones around her, they're the famous elements of harmony, in a resting state. A gas of purple smoke, far at the end, caught my attention. Then I couldn't resist a smile, lifting a smile of relief at the sight of the purple mare, despite her coughing and gasping in shock afterwards. Hey, Twilight, I said in casual greeting, throwing her an apologetic smile. I can question that voice in my mind afterwards. Nightmare Moon continued chuckling with the excessive lightning splitting around us. Jeez, Leda, can't you get any more dramatic? I threw her a deadpan stare before looking back at the stunned Twilight, who looked at me in surprise, and dare I think it, worry. Then changed her expression and posture, looking ready to charge. She can't be serious. You're kidding. Oh, for once we're in agreement, Miss Moon. What does Twilight hope to possibly do with this reckless state? You're kidding, right? In response, I could see the horn on her head lighting up from the magic this world possesses. And Twilight started to charge, my eyes widening. No, Twilight, stop. Don't do it. Stop. As I said so, the corner of my eye informed me Nightmare Moon was in a defensive position, no doubt prepared to counter the foolish mayor. All the more reason. Twilight, stop. Yet, she heeded not, and the taller charged in return. God damn it, what could you possibly hope to achieve? Uh, oh. Before I could even react, the surprising purple unicorn was at my side, inciting me to jump as she looked at me in concern. Ugh. Are you alright, Stardust? I blinked rapidly. Right. I forgot she can teleport. I'll hit myself on the head later. I nodded firmly after getting out of my temporary stupor and inclined my head to the stones. I didn't even know how they'd fallen beside me. She nodded in stern understanding before setting to work. Just one spark. Her horn began lighting as Twilight leaned down at the stones. Come on, come on. Huh, looks to be working. The stones were apparently responding. Or that was just the magic on her end. Twilight, my mouth exclaimed in shock and concern as the unicorn's body flung far from me, and the elements feeling another presence beside me. Okay, that does it. Even if I can't move my hoods, the taller mare was still within biting distance. My features hardened towards the villain, glaring at her, while she seemed to be having problems of her own. No! No! Huh? My oncoming assault froze. Slowly my eyes turned from the panicking mare and cackling stones to a smirking Twilight. And it clicked like a switch in my brain. Oh, ho, ho. Twilight, you. That was then the purple unicorn sounded gasped and shocked, and I immediately looked down to the side as the lightning sounds between the elements were no longer. Oh, never mind. But where's the sixth element? Nightmare Moon laughed in glorified triumph and raised herself upwards. What was she? Wait, what? My jaw fell downwards as the stone shattered from the small ground cake from the villain's hoof. Wait, those stones weren't the elements. I thought they were just in some sleeping state, ready to be awoken, and turned into those iconic gems everyone knows and loves. You little fool, Nightmare Moon exclaimed to the equally shocked Twilight. Thinking you could defeat me. Me, the mistress of all evil. Oh, wrong story, sorry. Now you'll never see your princess, nor your son. Wait, there's still time. Moon, I beg of you, cease this madness. You can do better than this. Turn back to the princess you once were. The one you were always meant to be. There's still time. Silence, you fool. That pitiful mare is gone forever. Nothing you say will ensure her return. It seems my plea were all for naught. You're not helping Twilight, just lying there in defeat. The glowing mane grew ever so higher as the villainous mare continued her speech. The night will last forever, followed by laughter that would make Maleficent proud. And that swirling hurricane once again. Not if I can help it. It won't end like this, plain and simple. My ardent eyes turned to Unicorn. Twilight, getting her shocked and to my blended eyes meeting her purple frightened own. Listen to me. You can still win. The night will not last forever. And do you know why? Because I know the story. I know how it ends. You will emerge triumphant. Remember what I said before in the library. What? Twilight asked hesitantly, and I could feel Nightmare's eyes on me as well. But that won't stop me. I'm on a roll. Magic, Twilight. That is the sixth element. When I said it was speculation on my part, I lied. Simply because I tried to help without giving too much info away. My head lowered a little at the confession. Before standing back up and before staring back up in resolve. I realize now, as I should have sooner, considering the corniness of this world, Twilight, the elements, Twilight, they're not mere relics, not anymore. They're in you, Twilight Sparkler, and your friends. You just have to find them within yourselves and awaken them. Of course, that might not entirely be the case, but it wouldn't surprise me anymore if some plot convenience like that did happen. And taken aback, Mara blinked at my confident words, no doubt contemplating what I was saying before her gaze suddenly switched to the doorway outside. What was she? A certain dark mare interrupted my thoughts, chuckling darkly. My, what a pretty little speech, but you are wrong, you defiant little pony. The elements of harmony are no more, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. You think you can destroy the elements of harmony just like that? Both I and the villain blinked at Twilight, stunning words. Well, you're wrong. Wait, she actually listened? Because Stardust is right. The spirits of the elements of harmony are right here. Whoa, where did they come from? I shook my head. Never mind that. I couldn't get rid of the grin on my features, as all 6 ponies stared defiantly at the fallen princess. And what's this? There were painting pieces. The shards were suddenly glittering in multiple colors, lifting from the stony ground around us. I raised a victorious brow at the mare. It's over, Moon. Though a sting of disappointment hit me as the epiphany. My previous plan to resolve this without violence was all for naught. What? Applejack, Twilight began confidently, who reassured me when I was in doubt, represents the spirit of honesty. Fluttershy, who tamed a manticore with her compassion. That's what that line was called. I should get me one. Represents the spirit of kindness. Pinkie Pie, who banished fear by giggling in the face of danger, represents the spirit of laughter. Rarity, who calmed the sorrowful serpent with a hairstyle so bad it'd give Demiox a run for his money. But a meaningful gift represents the spirit of generosity. And Rainbow Dash, who could not abandon her friends for her own heart's desires, represents the spirit of loyalty. And Stardust Bounce, who accomplishes nothing but act like a complete jerk to run around, represents the spirit of sarcasm. Don't give me that look. As each time she made those points about her friends, my smirk widened by each of the shards surrounding their true owners. You're screwed, Nightmare Moon, and I look forward to seeing what. Wait, she's standing right next to me. That means, oh god, no. The spirits of these 5 ponies got through every challenge you threw at us. So to be fair, some of those challenges were just ridiculous in hindsight. You still don't have the 6th element. The spark won't work. Was that panic on her voice, or just a look at her nervous state? It was hilarious. With that, I laughed loudly, echoing over the sound of the humming shards. Perhaps more cruelly intended in getting the mayor's livid attention. What's so funny, you foolish down? But it did, as Stardust said too. I smirked as Twilight answered the question for me. A different kind of spark, she turned to her certain friends. I found it. The moment I realized how happy I was to hear you, to see you, how much I cared about you. The spark ignited inside me when I realized you all are my friends. That was so sentimental I could almost gag, but I grinned regardless. Now a bright light just appeared above us. What, is God lending a hand? Nope, all I see is the shape of the 6th element instead. The stone descending down towards them, my head tilted to the horrified mare who was protecting herself from the light. You see the moon? You see, Moon? You thought though I admit I had my doubts too, severely underestimated them. Such power is not for simple stones. The power comes from the magic and the heart of those willing to protect their friends. Magic is the sixth element. I couldn't have said it better myself, Pride said from a distance before. Bright light. Too bright, cease already. What the? Oh, they're starting to merge with their elements. The sixth element morphed into crown. Oh, so that's how the crown came to be. And the rainbow is spinning upwards to the merging to the ceiling, becoming a bright light. And then the element X marking the rainbow descends right towards Nightmare Moon's panic location. Stop, or I'll destroy this pony where he stands. And mine too. Oh god, no! I heard the mare scream in shock and fright beside me as the rainbow missed and wrapped around its intended target. Well, there's a relief. No! Aha! Taste the rainbow, Moon. They're rocking you like a rainbow hurricane. How you looking at? And another bright light. This time I closed my eyes to prevent any blindness. Wait, my legs. I can feel them. The numbness was suddenly gone. As soon as the light disappeared, I slowly opened my eyes in case of an iron car would look down. The blue mist trapping my limbs evaporated into nothingness. Finally, I quickly moved them about to check their state. Working properly. Excellent. Oh, my head. A certain blue Pegasus set out unpaid, causing me to look in a direction. Ugh. Every pony, okay? Applejack called out. Yeah, everything seems to be working on my end. Yeah, that's fine, thanks, I called back, checking myself just in case. Not a trace of anything that screamed danger on me, thankfully. Oh, thank goodness. My rarity is so lovely. Oh, goody. In the end, that white unicorn gets her own trinket. And look, I'll never part with it again, and her tail has grown back. How? Why? Who cares? Happy ending for all. I think that's the first genuine puzzle I found during my time here. No, your necklace. It looks just like your cue mark. Oh, so does yours. Yes, they all get trinkets holding the elements. Good for them. I shook my head in exasperation, ignoring Pinkie Pie's excited tone about her own necklace, and cast my gaze over to the purple unicorn, who was in the middle of smiling up at her new crown. I released a long-awaited sigh. Good, she's all right. Why do I care? As I said before, she was my favorite pony. Simple as that. Don't believe for a minute I have sincere concern for her fictional well-being. Gee, Twilight, I thought you were just spouting the law of hooey. But I reckon we really do represent the elements of friendship. Oh, you have no idea, Miss Applejack. This is just the beginning. Indeed you do. The hell? Magic voice? No, obviously they heard it as well. And just then light was pouring through the ancient windows. Oh, well, finally. I observed in fascination as a bright sphere entered through the window before disappearing and revealing the white alicorn within. There she was, in all her glory. Judging by the way she appears, informs me this was Celestia's first time ever showing up on the, well, show. And the ponies, save for I and Twilight, bowed in her presence. Instead, I simply watched. I have no reason to bow in respect or the like, simply because she is not my monarch, nor has she earned my respect. Just like that of the defeated, like, nightmare. Speaking of which, Princess Celestia. Twilight Sparkle, my faithful student. It would be touching if I was watching instead. My gaze was set on an unconscious smaller princess looking quite comfortable in her sleep. Dark blue body as it should be, but I'm not fond of those remains surrounding the sleeping unit. Luna, I knew you could do it. You told me it was all an old ponytail. I told you that you needed to make some friends, nothing more. I saw the signs of Nightmare Moon's return. and I knew it was you who had the magic inside to defeat her. But you could not unleash it until you let true friendship into your heart. I covered my scoff with my hoof. I get it, this show is cheesy beyond standards, but I couldn't help it. Luckily, they heard nothing. Now, if only another will as well. Hey, Princess Luna? Ah. I heard a gasp behind me as I turned to the awakened princess. What? Just the sound of her sibling's voice did the trick? Give me a break. It's been 1,000 years since I've seen you like this. Okay, better get out of the way. I retreated backwards, landing on my behind by mistake as the taller monarch approached. Just where was she all this time, anyway? Having a cup of tea while her student did all the work. Time to put our differences behind us. Oh, come on, it can't be that easy. I stared in disbelief as the white alicorn sat down in front of her scared sister, tone being that of comfort. We were meant to roll together, little sister. A chorus, sister! A chorus of shock rang from the distance. Hang on. You don't know? You didn't know? I asked the main second. They shook their head in reply. Huh. Thought that was common knowledge, I muttered before returning my gaze to the pair. Will you accept my friendship? Celestia inquired with a soft tone. Silence ensued, as the rest looked on, in concern and worry. I rolled my eyes. Oh, of course she's going to accept. I'm so sorry. See? I missed you so much, big sister. That loving embrace is bringing a small smile on my face. Celestia sighed, eye on relief and happiness. I missed you too. Wow, that was way too forgiving. And back home, people wonder why I question her so-called wisdom. And oh, by all means, Pinkie Pie, ruin this moment with your sobbing humor. We can't get enough of it. Stop it. Stop it right this instant, you forsaken pony, and called to the crying wolf pony, ignoring the stares of... My wife? Hey, oh, well, you know, she listens. Do you know what that color is for? Oh, heaven, please, no. I sighed in long exasperation. A party. Yeah, great. All over the frickin' town, too. What could it better? Oh, I know. Me not being here. As every single pony arrived in where I presumed to be the middle of the sunny town, where blaring celebratory music and ecstatic creatures were everywhere. I, of course, kept to myself. Doing so as we all returned to Ponyville together. I stared blankly at the crowd, feet away from me. Well, that's the first two-pyre over and done with, I imagine. The threat vanquished for now, apparently. But many more will emerge, and those 6 will triumph over them all. I have no reason to be here. But you did help. Oh, great, the voice returned. I did nothing, was my quiet reply. You assist them in defeating the fallen princess. Your words encouraged her, whether you realize it or not. She would have figured it out regardless. I thought you'd join in the celebration. A voice beside me cut off my conversation with thin air. And I turned to a rather somber Twilight standing beside me, observing the crowd of the multicolored species too. I gave a snort of amusement. Parties aren't my thing. Before raising a brow in concern at the state of the unicorn. You look down, Twilight. Indeed, why so gloom, my faithful student? Said the approaching princess, smiling at the two of us. No, I'm not going to act all nervous around Celestia. Are you not happy that your quest is complete and you can return to your studies in Canterlot? Wait, what? But she doesn't... Oh... That's just it, Twilight confessed sadly. Eyes fixed on the ground. Just when I learned how wonderful it is to have friends, I have to leave them. Bust, restrained, smirk. A pause before Celestia responded, as though making a clear decision. Spike, take a note, please. I raised a brow as the dragon, whom I barely even noticed was there, obeyed and produced some paper and a quill from a rope with space and time, I imagine. I, Princess Celesta, hereby decree that Unicorn Twilight Sparkle shall take on a new mission for Equestria. She must continue to study the magic of friendship. She must report to me her findings from her new home in Ponyville. I chuckled and took a step back from the addressed unicorn as her friends began glumping her. I won't lie, I feel happy for her. Only a little, though. I can't get emotionally invested in any of these ponies. Not right now, when I'm watching them on TV, certainly, but I still have more bigger objectives in mind. Oh, thank you, Princess Celestia. I'll study harder than ever before. The obedient pony vowed before loud, obnoxious cheering happened. I was but smiled anyway. Congratulations, Twilight, I managed to say over the noise before looking at the happy unicorn. Princess Celestia. Princess Celestia. All pretense was over. This conversation needs to happen now. If I might have a word with you in private ears, I add as the ponies blink at me curiously. Ah, you're that braver stallion who my faithful student and her friends. So she figured out I did not. I did not regard them as such. Clever her. I'll be sure to give the monarch a cookie. Right this way. Please, Twilight, enjoy this celebration. I won't be long. I nodded firmly and following the walking princess, ignoring the intrigued stare sent my way as we moved a distance from the crowd's hearing. A section of the town emptied. I must thank you for helping my beloved people, the tall monarch began as we were away from the prying ears of the citizens who were enjoying the party and admiring said people. And I apologize on behalf of my sister for capturing you. I waved off the apology. No need. It's a good thing she captured me. I wouldn't have been there otherwise. Besides, I did little to help her. Twilight could have easily solved it all on her own. Perhaps. But regardless, you chose to assist my student and her friends in their time of need. You have my gratitude, Mr. Balance. I shook my head. I still couldn't do anything to help your... Wait, hang on. I stared up at the unicorn with clear suspicion, who simply looked amused at my expression. You know my name. The monarch nodded. I overheard your conversation with Nightmare Moon. I commend you on trying to persuade her, and I apologize for keeping my presence hidden. But she blinked in surprise as I raised a hoof to cut her off, evidently not anticipating an earth pony disrespect her so. You were there when you could have assisted your student in defeating Nightmare Moon? What, were you eating popcorn while enjoying the show? I can't scarcely believe it. Her own student could have died, and all she did was sit back and observe. The nerve of her. I understand if you're upset. Oh, clearly, just to look at my disapproving expression. But it had to be done. Only the power of friendship could have defeated Nightmare. The same excuse that will be used against future villains, no doubt. Excuse me? Sighing, knowing I had little time for this, I shook my head at the ground before looking up. Fine, yes, fine. Your decisions are your own. Your judgment has always been questionable to me, Princess. But now is not the time for such. There is a bigger crisis on your hands. No? But my sister has been reformed. What other situation could there currently be? My situation, I replied firmly, staring up to her eyes that held centuries of knowledge with them. I need help getting back home, to my world. A pause, a very understandable pause, before Celestia recovered from her shock and blinked in rapid succession. I'm sorry? You heard me. I'm not from Equestria, I replied sternly as the monarch lowered her head as though checking if I was deceiving her. My eyes held nothing but the truth here. Princess, believe it or not, I'm not even a pony for that matter. But somehow I've become one of your kind, stuck on this forsaken world. You're not lying. Wow, just like that? This may be easier than I thought. Not a pony, a voice behind, switching her gaze to a curious one. A voice behind said, switching her gaze to the confused blue monarch, walking toward us. Forgive me, sister. The cry was just too much for me. I gave a forgiving smile her way. No reason to be mad. It's fine, sister, for I feel this must be heard from both of us. Cecilia replied softly before returning back to me, her expression hiding low. I was taken aback by the sudden change. Now she's serious. Please start at the beginning. And the beginning I did. How one night I was in my bed within my own world, to somehow awaken within Equestria, Ponyville to be precise. How I tried to understand how and why this was happening to me. How I mingled with the residents here reluctantly, trying to gain a sense on what was happening. How I thought of using the library to find out more. How I planned on stopping Nightmare Moon by my own method. From the corner of my eye, Luna looked away in shame. At that part, as her sister comforted her gently. How I waited for the rest of the ponies to arrive, thinking of a plan to get myself out of being a hostage, all the way to now, and I currently stand discussing the situation. When I finished, taking a deep breath for my dehydrated throat, Luna was staring at me in curiosity while Celestia looked at the sky contemplatively. I sensed truth in your words. You're deceiving neither me or my sister. What would be the point if I did? However, your story also informs me there are things you are keeping from us. Drat. I assume there is good reason for that. Hey, if you're not making things easier for your student, why should I for you? Besides, there are massive consequences when you inform someone of specific future events. How would they react? What would they try to do to prevent the terrible parts? No, these things need to happen. It may be frowned upon to allow bad things to occur when you have the power to stop it, but it's how life works. The bad stuff gives us something to learn and improve from. More than you can comprehend, I said sincerely, smiling apologetically. I will inform you of this. Twilight and her friends will be faced with many obstacles and challenges in the future. Nightmare Moon, unfortunately, is just the beginning. And you are aware of these predicted events? Luna then asked, her expression looking rather conflicted, as though having no idea what to make of me. Well, that's justified, seeing as how she's just been isolated for so long. Everything must be hard to take in for the poor princess. I do, but you must understand, some things are better unsaid till the time comes. And to my surprise, the white alicorn actually concurred with me. I agree. Did I hear that correctly? Her softened gaze returned to me. You know more than you are saying, but I shall not pry, though I do hope you at least help us in the meantime. In the meantime? The implications were instantly not appealing. You mean you have no idea how to help me? Oh, great. Already my spirits feel crushed as Celestia shook her head. This is something unusual and never heard of before in my entire life. I wish I could help, Mr. Balance, but this may just be beyond my understanding. You have no idea at all how you came to be in Agrestia? I reluctantly shook my head. Then I'm sorry, but with no clues, we have nothing. I sighed in disappointment. Well, it was worth a shot. Wait. Both minds and Luna's had perked up at the sudden change of tone. Dear sister, would you please bring Twilight over here? With a hesitant, curious nod, the smaller sibling lifted us towards the departing crowd in the distance. I raised a suspicious eyebrow at the mark. What are you? One moment, Mr. Balance. I have an idea. What possible idea could this be with Twilight? Oh. Of course, I resisted, smacking myself in the head. If there's anyone who can help, it's her, though I honestly doubt how much help she can be in this case. I didn't bother looking behind me as the Blue Princess returned with the unicorn in question. Is there a problem, Princess? Were the first words out of her mouth. I do hope you know what you're doing, Celestia. My faithful student, your library has a spare room for one to sleep in, correct? Hold the phone. What? My eyes widened to an immense maximum as the monarch simply smiled at my behavior. I think so. I never really had time to check. Why did she sound so sheepish about it? It was a simple question. Why, you ask? Yes, exactly. What was your game here, Princess? Luna already seemed to get the idea. She looked back and forth to me and the confused silent. Mr. Bounds here, I found myself, unwillingly straightening and being addressed by the monarch, is in need of a place to live. He arrived from a place cut off from civilization and needs to learn the ways of Ponyville and how every pony lives their life here. It requires some friends of his own. No, I freaking don't. Yet, she ignored my protestant expression. Plus, we owe it to him for helping you learn about the Sixth Element. This will be repaid by helping him, unless, of course, you both accept. Why was she doing this? Plus, with the library around, it will help him find what he needs much quicker. Oh, I see what you're doing. Stardust, you idiot. You could have found that out sooner. Well, I guess it'd be nice to have somebody else around in case I need extra hooves around. Or Spike wants somebody to play with while I'm busy. I wish I could say the same. I much prefer to be alone. As the three ponies stared at me with different expressions, one of encouragement, one of curiosity, and one of hopelessness, I found myself staring back before it sunk in, living inside a library with Twilight Sparkle. Okay, now I definitely can't say no. Well, if it provides food and shelter for me, I guess I can't decline. Besides, I love libraries. I accept. Celestia looked pleased at the certain answer. Luna lifted a small smile while Twilight seemed to beam. For whatever reason. Oh, hang on. But be warned, I added firmly, turning to the smiling unicorn. I'm not your servant, Miss Spark Twilight. I will help you in any manner when I feel like doing so. I'll help you out around your library if you keep your word and won't toss your books around like earlier. A meek smile. I'll try, though in a state of an emergency, I can't make any promises. I smirked. Neither can I. Splendid that you chose to accept, Celestia declared. Ponyville is a lovely town, if you give it a chance. Thank you, my dear student. Now then, Stardust, why don't you go enjoy the celebration with her? I don't do parties. Come on, Stardust, it won't be so bad. I turned to the smiling Twilight beside me. You can make some great friends here. I'm not here to make friends. please. I rolled my eyes as I rolled my eyes as her eyes were busy pleading to me. Oh, come on, you can't seriously be doing this to me. Afterwards, I can show you around the library and where you'll be sleeping. If I have a spare room. If not, well, I'm afraid the couch will be the only option left. I sighed and reluctant acceptance before nodding to Happy Unicorn. Fine, sure, whatever. If it makes things easier for me, why not? Do have fun, Twilight and Stardust, and be sure to make lots of friends, Celestia said in a farewell tone, as the pair of us walked back towards the distant crowd. We will, thank you, Princess, Twilight called back before turning to me. So you're new around here, too. Evidently, my dear. I was worried at first, too, you know. But these ponies mean well. I'm sure you'll make great friends here, too. I scoffed as the music became louder. I highly doubt that. Twilight blinked. Why not? Friendship works on trust. Something I cannot afford to give away. You want to be my friend? I'm afraid you'll have to work for it, I replied genuinely, not trying to at all sound harsh, but really considering my circumstances. Sure, friendship was the thing I couldn't afford while I'm here. I have research to do. This damn getting closer party. The unicorn paused for a moment, looking down thoughtfully as I raised a curious brow. Then she looked back up and smirked confidently. Well, be sure to work hard for it. I'm hardly worth the effort. If my pony is, I like challenges anyway. I grinned, admittedly enjoying this attitude of Twilight's. Already she's the closest thing I have to a friend here. Just don't blame me when you get a migraine. We both chuckled at the joke, and for some reason I already felt my spirits rising as we talked. What was this? Thank you, by the way, the unicorn then said gratefully. If it weren't for you, I might have never discovered the sixth element, and we never would have stopped Nightmare Moon. I snorted. Please, you would have figured it out regardless. And you did in the end. I didn't help you or your friends at all. Well, maybe, I smirked at the mock smugness in tone. But you helped us anyway. Thank you for that. I'm not sure whether I was comfortable with that smile or not. So, thank you, Stardust. No problem. But how did you know what the sixth element was anyway? That was for me to know and for you to ponder, my dear Twilight, as I opened my mouth to say as such. Twilight, there you are. I was cut off by a particular small dragon rushing out of the crowd toward us. You remember missing out on the yummy cake. Well, hey, I remember you. You're that pony who stood up to Nightmare Moon in Town Hall. I nodded honestly. I'm a little taken aback that you would even remember me. Yes, I am. That was really brave of you. I thought only Twilight had the nerve to do that. I shrugged. I just did what needed to be done. No more, no less. Stardust here will be staying with us at our new home, Spike, Twilight announced to her pet. Why does she sound so happy about it? I'm not the greatest roommate in the world. She'll no doubt soon discover. Really? Great. Before I even processed it, the purple-ish dragon was right in front of me. Inches shorter, holding out the closest thing to a human hand I've seen all day. It'll be awesome to have someone else around when Twilight's too busy. My name's Spike, Spike the Dragon. Twilight's #1 assistant. A pleasure to meet you. Okay, I wasn't expecting such manners, despite who the owner was. After my rapid blinking, I lifted a small smile and laid the palm of my hoof on his hand, shaking it gently. I'm Stardust balanced. The pleasure is all mine, Mr. Spike. Oh, please just call me Spike. You don't have to be so formal. The lizard rubbed his back in his head in embarrassment. At least the earlier smugness was gone. As you wish. You can call me Stardust in return. I believe we'll get along quite well, friend. I may as well play nice to the dragon. I have no intent on making their lives a living hell, provided they don't do the same in turn. I like him already, Spike grinned to the observant Twilight after breaking the hand hoofshake, who nodded in return. So do I, Spike. My head immediately snapped to her after those words. Wait, for real? They both actually like me? She giggled at my astounded expression. No need to look surprised. I'm sure we'll all get along fantastically. Now, Spike, what were you saying about cake? All right, come on, this way. It's the most delicious cake I've ever had. Twilight shook her head in amusement, and I couldn't help but mimic such as we followed the ecstatic dragon towards the said delicious-looking cake and Twilight and friends. So I'm already thought fondly of in this place. Maybe it won't be so bad after all. As we returned to the crowd, only one thought crossed my mind. Hold tight, little sis. I'll be home as soon as I allow the familiar guest. You! You're new to Bonneville, aren't you? Don't worry, I'll throw another party just for you. 2 parties on the same day. Woohoo! Sobbed. What I previously just thought to myself, this will all be as bad as I thought. I glared up at the laughter of that mysterious voice in my mind. To be continued.